Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. This is a new kind of experimental version of Sleep With Me we've never done before. So welcome. These are just bedtime stories from our podcast, Sleep With Me. And to make them feel fresh, these ones are from a couple years ago. So if you're a regular listener, you might get a refresh. And if you're new, these are just bedtime stories from a show called Sleep With Me. They're strange, they're meandering, they're a little bit different. And all this is made possible by listeners like you, regular listeners like you. And so I just want to let you know that's how we're able to put the show out. And so if you are a fan of Sleep With Me, you listen to it on a regular basis, please consider supporting the show. You get ad-free episodes, you get ad-free story-only episodes, tons of other cool stuff at Sleep With Me Plus. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. But if you're in a position and you have some money every month, or you say, hey, maybe I don't watch that streaming service, I'd rather give it to a podcast, think about your favorite podcast. It doesn't have to be Sleep With Me, and support that podcast. If it is Sleep With Me, I consider supporting the show, would be great. But if it isn't, or there's a podcast you listen to way more, brings you a lot of value during the day, please support that podcast. Podcasting's going through a different time right now, and your favorite podcast, the one you get the most out of, could use your support the most. So consider supporting it however they request support. Just check it out, like listen to the show or check out their website, or consider supporting Sleep With Me. If Sleep With Me, you say, oh no, Sleep With Me is the one I listen to the most, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for a cornucopia of pointless meanders. Senseless things are going to be falling from my mouth like leaves from a tree, meandering their way to the earth so you could fall asleep, because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. This is a quick message here. If you get a lot out of Sleep With Me, if you're a regular listener, you like these new things we're trying out, like the story-only version of the show. If you're new, don't worry about any of this. But if you're a regular listener of Sleep With Me, or you're a regular listener of any podcast, if you have a favorite podcast, and it's not Sleep With Me, that's totally cool. If you have podcasts you listen to way more, or you get way more value out of, I totally understand that. Consider supporting that podcast. Podcasting as an industry is kind of going through a weird phase right now. Direct support from listeners is going to be, it seems like it's going to be the future of most shows. And so consider supporting the podcast you really love. And you could do that. You could find out, you could listen to the show and see how they ask to be supported. Or reach out to them and say, hey, how can I support you? Or if you can't afford, a few dollars a month, you say, hey, how else can I support you? But if Sleep With Me is the one, Sleep With Me Plus is the best way to support Sleep With Me. Sign up for Sleep With Me Plus. Not only you get an unbelievably sweet, different ways to listen to the show, but it's a huge help for us to be able to do stuff like this. But yeah, think about what your favorite podcast is, and then go ahead and go to their website, or if you already know how they like to be supported, support that show. Thanks and good night. All right, everybody, this is Scooter here, and this is going to be a little bit different episode. It's a combination of a couple styles, and so because of the season of, I guess we can say Halloween season, and when kids dress up in costumes, and I did want to look back. I know I did an episode like Costumes of My Youth or something like that. That was a personal essay style episode a few years ago. I probably did some research at some point about, it seems like there was just this one company that made the majority of costumes, of this one style of costume that was the main go-to, other than homemade costumes, at least in my mind, in my memory. And it did become this weird sort of self-perpetuating thing. I mean, I think that there was the convenience of, so this would be costumes that kids would wear from age 3 to age, I don't even know, 12, 13. If you didn't have a homemade costume or you made one yourselves. And I kind of talked about, my mom, like there were years where my mom would make a costume, and then there was years when I got into maybe sixth grade or fifth grade was the first time I made my own costume. But in between those years, you would wear one of these plastic. It came with a very cheap plastic mask and then a vinyl kind of apron. So we're going to read a little bit about that, look at a couple of catalogs, and take a look. So the first thing I'm going to look through is an article from 2017, 10/29/2017 by Charlie Moss. It was published on Thrillist.com. And it's like I'll be paraphrasing, and it's an interesting, bizarre story behind those old school string Halloween masks. And they interviewed John James Miller, a costume historian and child of the 70s who grew up loving those nighttime strolls. His three favorite costumes were C-3PO, that's hard for a dyslexic, Spider-Man, and one Marvel and one DC superhero whose names can't be spoken in a sleep podcast, I just realized. And as I said, they came with they were sleeveless vinyl smocks and the plastic masks that fit over the face with a single thin rubber band. At some point, they went from a rubber band, though, to like and I'm remembering like it would get caught in your hair and stuff. But it went from a rubber band to like a elastic with some sort of material. They vaguely represented the characters, and I loved them. They were all from the Ben Cooper Costume Company. And for 3 decades, from the 50s to the late 80s, they provided all the pop culture icons, and they had an uncanny ability to predict what was going to be popular. And it became, Ben Cooper Incorporated became synonymous with Halloween, a trendsetter for kids looking for something more than just a generic. I think it also kind of is interesting how, I guess in some sense it shows the positivity of play. Because when you think about when even a poorly made home costume would have looked better than one of these, but one, because it was popular, but also because of the suspension of disbelief. And in some healthy way, I think, like whatever your costume, joining in the sense of community play, it didn't really matter. I don't know. I guess it goes both ways. Like everything in life, it's a gray area. But it was inexpensive, fostered children's imaginations. There you go. And as more adults began taking part in more elaborate costumes, they couldn't compete with this more child-focused model. Oh, it was also on a podcast episode, it looks like. It was founded in 1937, originally Vaudeville and Masquerade Company, founded by Ben and Nat Cooper, 2 siblings in the Garment District. Let's see. Ira, Nat's son, worked with his father and was an outside salesman from 76 to 80. Now is an English, at the time of this article, an English school teacher in New Mexico. The company Ben Cooper Inc. went after was Walt Disney in the 30s and the 40s. That was where they got started. It's interesting, just like Nintendo did those cards. Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Mickey Mouse. And then once they had them, they were able to license other emerging characters from radio at first. And as the company's catalog expanded, so did Ben and Ira's imagination, trying to innovate. They came up with different, their own IP stuff and inventions. The 70s it became, they took advantage of popularity of Marvel and DC, Hanna-Barbera, then Star Wars. And it says, this is a quote, they were always right ahead of the trends, and it still boggles me how they were able to allocate resources and effort on something that was not guaranteed it was going to pop up by Halloween. But they got the Star Wars license before anybody else. While the deal with the Kenner Toy Company was legendary, the costume rights were easier to negotiate because it was before cosplay and high-end memorabilia. They would begin production of stuff 8 to 10 months beforehand. That meant anticipating the excitement around something like Star Wars. But they were already 40 years old at that point, their company. But they were ready while Kenner was not for the demand of the 1977 holiday season. But they weren't laughing because of the flood of money coming in, Iris says at the time. The company had no idea how it's going to meet demand. When you're in a rush to pursue something timely, you don't necessarily increase your profits by increasing volume. You have to be, you have to have experienced crews. And then in the 80s, some people, there was a kind of change in trick-or-treating versus home parties, and then that slowly changed to more adults celebrating Halloween. And that's where, people wanted a high-quality cloth costumes. Well, Ben Cooper Inc. did have cloth coupons, not cloth coupons, cloth costumes. Cloth coupons, good for one Santa Claus. It proved to be too expensive and too complicated for the company to handle. Unlike their inexpensive boxed costumes sold at toy stores and seasonal department stores, pricier cloth costumes were sold on hangers, which took up more room, meant less room for merchandise, and required customers to try them on. Yeah, that was the other thing. These were all one-size-fits-all, or maybe they came in small, medium, and large. We'll find out as we dig into the catalogs. 30 years later, the shift that took place in the 80s has ultimately helped them because Halloween isn't for kids anymore. Miller and Ira are using that to their advantage. Together with Ira's daughter, Shafira, they're resurrecting it. They acquired the brand back. And, I guess they're capitalizing on nostalgia. Yeah, it looks like, this is an exhibit at a museum. But yeah, people are selling them on eBay a lot. I guess they have a new merchandise. So anyway, that was one article. Let's just see what Wikipedia has to say about it. Ben Cooper Inc. Yeah, started in 1937, defunct in 1992. Yeah, they show kind of the corporate history, which we covered. Let's see, 1940s, 1970s, and 80s. And then, then the 80s kind of, a lot of stuff changed. Increasing sales in the 80s were not enough, though, to stave off the decline of the business. Collectability, they do remain collectible boxed costumes with the box the most. So that's the Wikipedia. And I have downloaded some other ones here. I guess let's start with the 1986 or 80. Oh, no, that's not a Ben Cooper one. Let's start with some of these are from plaidstallions.com, which I used for stuff. And then I have a couple other ones. Okay, we got a 68, a 70s. Let's start with this one. Okay, this is from... 1980. So it opens, it's got a real picture on the cover. It says Ben Cooper. #1 with copyright costumes, ponchos, masks, over-the-head rubber, and even ones, that have stuff that looks like hair. Has the address for their office and factory. And it has like a kind of... on the front, it has a famous Halloween character. Then on the first page of the catalog, it says Halloween 1980, #1 sales traffic builders. It has a cartoon drawing of kids, so not real kids. They're not exactly realistic, but the kids all look like they're dancing. Or the kid in the middle looks like he's dancing. And the kid on the right does. But the kid on the left is faking being well, I guess it makes sense why they don't have, because these drawings of kids are one size fits all. And then you don't see that the kids are behind the mask. So the first one is Superman, big superhero. Then Hulk, TV superhero. So this was, I guess, when the Hulk TV show was on. And the Hulk was wearing purple pants. A lot of times, because the mask didn't make sense, they also have a picture. Like the Superman character looks like Superman's outfit. Though it always had like gaiters like around the calf to the floor. Like we say, I don't know, because you just wear your regular shoes. But the Superman does have, like, kind of looks like blue jeans more than a Superman outfit. But then the Hulk has purple pants like the Hulk would wear, but the Hulk had purple shorts. But purple jeans, I don't know if Bruce Banner wore purple jeans. And then purple jeans in the purple rain. But it has a picture of the Hulk on the shirt. And then the other one is Darth Vader. And so it has a picture of Darth Vader, it says Star Wars, and then black pants. Darth Vader does have a cape, so does Superman. All are short-sleeved. I don't know, is that spelled right? Darth Vader. D-A-R-T-H-V-A-D-A-R. I thought it was Darth Vader. But what do I know? Then page 2, we have, wow. Page 2 is interesting. Page 3, exclusively ours. Number one characters kids love. The first one is an interesting, famous Halloween person, but they have some curly hair, like kind of like a perm. And then their name on the shirt, like they say, oh, yeah, I sing the song Transylvania 65000. And then they have purple pants as well. Then we have one with a dress. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess it's a smock, a strawberry shortcake. My sister may have had this one. Maybe not in 1980 because she wouldn't have been in the costume yet. Or no, I guess she would have been 4. But it has a strawberry shortcake. Like this one's not a close-up of strawberry shortcake, though. She has her cat, some strawberries, and she's kind of digging through a strawberry briar. And then the Mickey Mouse, it's in quotes, it says world famous. And Mickey has his hands up like a surprise, but he has like eyes that look like he's trying to hypnotize you. It's not a very good look, I'll be honest. And Mickey has, for some reason, a checkered vest, like you would see, kind of like a checkered cab, yellow and black checks, red pants, but then underneath the vest and a bow tie that says Mickey Mouse is Mickey Mouse below it in a red pants and a checkered vest. So, I don't know. Okay, then sales power for our number one superheroes. And so this one has 3 superheroes. None of them have their pictures on their shirts or their chests. I definitely had, it was the third one, either my brother or I had, because it's very silvery, so we'll get to it. But the first one is... our friend, that the hero of the webs, web hero, and I think that says TV superhero. So I think that was when wasn't our web friend on a show like on Electric Company or something. So I don't know if that was it. Then we have Wonder Woman, TV superheroine. And her outfit looks, except they still have the same jeans with the red lower section of the pants. And then they have Robin's sidekick, Bruce Wayne, but his outfit is from not even like the one on the TV show. It's silvery. I remember it was silvery instead of gray. He has a cape as well. Robin's sidekick. And I don't know. I think either my brother or I had that one. Okay, next, now we go to not color anymore in the catalog. were the first in promotional all vinyl Tiny Tot costumes. They have, is it Casper or some non-branded Casper? Oh boy. And then another one, a bit like Lady Witchbeard. Maybe somebody in my family had that one. They had 1,001 box assortment and then a hanger form assortment. This is 48 pieces of boxed assortment. Oh, this is probably a pretty good deal. I wish they had the pricing, the wholesale pricing. But let's read this. If you get the 48-piece boxed assortment or 24-piece hanger assortment, a popular economy promotional line of costumes, traffic builder, you won't be undersold. These are designed by Ben Cooper experts in smart, bright colors. Vinyl costumes are vivid colored, heat sealed for durability, windproof, waterproof, full face Duro vinyl masks, a 2-piece window box, or on hanger forms. Tiny Tot sizes are 3 to 5. So these are costumes for 3 to 5-year-olds, or sizes 3 to 5. There's also a bunny, who in the cartoon is dancing, a little fairy who looks more like a princess because she has on some sort of robe, a kitty cat, who's the kid is doing a kitty cat, and then a CLO to the WN. Okay, page 2 has another assortment set. This is probably different sizes, though. And it has, these are so it has another Casper lookalike, another singer, different style costume of singer of Transylvania 65000, a Frankie who's dancing. That one looks kind of cool. And yeah, this is a 1201 boxed assortment, or you can get the hanger one. Budget lines, same thing. You get them in small 4 to 6, medium 8 to 10, or large 12 to 14. And that also came with the CLOWN. What is that one? I wish it wasn't covered up. There's a Lady Witchbeard type style one. There's somebody that looks like they worked with Get Bezos back when they ran that startup under the, in the Middle Earth. Okay, and then the next page is we're the number one biggest in copyright Halloween costumes, most famous television comic strip heroes that kids know and kids love 52 weeks a year. Oh, they have a Doctor Strange. Wow, they were so far out of their time. The Thing from the Final Four, what do you call that? The Fabulous Four, Fantastic Four, Captain America. And then my brother had this one right next to Captain America. It was a really great one, really bright colors. That was Captain America's nemesis, who then had to work on that weird planet in one of the Avengers movies. Let's see. All of these assortments are 36 pieces. So you'd buy a set of them. That's pretty smart, though. Full face, masks, heat durability, self-selling promotional box, different sizes. And I think it's Doctor Strange. Talk about, holy cow, no wonder the stuff's worth money. Then they have a page of, more. So they have a Disco Dazzler. I don't know if that was a show. It looks like it was some sort of IP. Then they have a woman of the web, it says. Somebody else, I can't tell what they're doing. Oh, Ponch and John, I think, from Chips. Maybe. And then the Lone Ranger. Then we got another page, Yogi Bear, Carrie from Little House on the Prairie, Raggedy Ann. This is interesting. Some of the stuff, it doesn't make any sense. So Raggedy Ann does not look comforting to me. But she has on what looks like a dress, and it says Raggedy Ann, has her picture. Then Yogi Bear has the cartoon child is touching the bow tie. He has a bow tie, or maybe it's a collar. Then a tie with a picture of Yogi Bear on it. Then Carrie, Little House on the Prairie, has a dress with the pictures of the other family members of Little House on the Prairie and something that says Carrie from Little House on the Prairie on there. So you don't have to, that's pretty smart in some sense, because if people don't know who you are, then it says it on there. Then it just says Flintstone. And again, this one is not comforting, but then it says, it looks like the picture on the chest of the child, it says Fred Flintstone. But Fred looks like he had way too many ales at whatever, the Moose Lodge, like 5,000 ales. Then a famous bozo. And then it says Tom and Jerry, but it's just Tom. And he's doing like a cat dance. Bozo's doing some sort of dance. So a lot of fun people having these drawings. And then they say, Super Tots, ours alone. So they do have Jerry on this page, but it just says Tom and Jerry. Then another bozo, Cinderella, Minnie Mouse, another Raggedy Ann. These are the Super Tots collection. Superboy, Donald Duck, holy moly. I'm surprised Disney must not have, this is like, you should look up this Donald Duck, because it does not look like a duck, and it does, like, looks like, I guess, like, what Donald is, like, if I imagine what Donald's inside life is like, this mask of Donald the Duck looks like that. Oh, cool. Now we get into another page here. This is another assortment. Tinkerbell, Snow White, Cinderella. So Tinkerbell does look cool, just not like a Tinkerbell. She looks kind of like more like a forest sprite. You say Scoots Tinkerbell is a forest sprite. I say, okay, well, this costume then portrays her in a way. Vincent from Black Hole, which was like BB-8 before BB-8 was even a twinkle in R2-D2's eye. Vincent from a Black Hole. Then another Donald Duck who has a star-spangled vest on, and then Donald Duck on the chest. And that one does not look like Donald Duck either. It kind of looks like some sort of it looks like it's something out of a Simpsons, like where it's like some duck like Donald that's been out too late. And then they have Mickey Mouse. I'm not kidding. The Mickey Mouse in this catalog has a 5 o'clock shadow. And it has kind of a sorcerer's Mickey on the chest, and it's waving. All of the two princesses, Snow White and Cinderella, are doing the princess wave. And then they have their first, characters with hair. My brother had one of these with hair. I don't remember which one is. Bigfoot, Puppy Pal, and then a Transylvania male and female. Transylvanian male and females with hair. This was a 24-piece assortment. For Scaredy Cats, it says... and those all come with hair. For Monster Profits, it says, oh boy, here's some other cool ones. King Kong, Godzilla, though Godzilla's wearing pants, and King Kong, and Frankie. It's interesting that they're on the pages together. That'd be pretty cool if, like, one of the Godzillas had a full size, like a 40 or 400 foot Frankie. Godzilla's actually spewing, well, Godzilla's spewing fire, but say technically that's not correct. Oh my gosh, we're getting into more stuff here. So then they have Buck Rogers. This is all before my time, or a lot of it is. Then Robin's Sidekick, the Web Buddy, Hulk, Mork from Mork and Mindy. And then some sort of Superman. There must have been a Superman reboot or something. This is in black and white, but it's a blonde Superman, it looks like. Oh, and according to Plaid Stallion pointed out that Mork is doing a Vulcan hello. Then we have another web person, Let's see. I'm trying to think of some of these, how I can say them. Supergirl, Wonder Woman, super selling heroines, Annie. That's pretty cool. Strawberry Shortcake. And then someone that you'd expect with Robin. And she had a motorcycle, I think, on that show. Nobody's sidekick, she would say. Plastic Man. Now, I remember seeing that show. I don't know if it was an add-on cartoon. Micronaut. Never heard of Micronaut. Isis. Like one of the Egyptian goddesses. Oh, yeah, it says, according to Plaid Stallions, Isis and Plastic Man were still stars in the 1980s, while Holly Hobbie and Biotron were stars of the... So there's Holly Hobbie. Never heard of Micronaut or Isis. I mean, and not in a fictional form. Then we have Tiny Tot Superheroes. This is funny because it's Tiny Tot Superheroes. So they have Superman, Wonder Woman, Hulk, R2-D2. And R2-D2 on this one looks like they just put a trash can. I think they probably changed around that mask, or it's not. And then a couple of the other ones. And then back for 1980, Star War. And it has half of the thing from, it says Empire Strike Back. Star War heroes return in science fiction's giant runaway best-selling costumes. And they have C-3PO, R2-D2, R2-D2's thing looks like I don't know, it's reminding me of something from some other piece of fiction. And Yato. And this one, it says Yato. So this is like what I think said. They were trying to stay ahead of things. And I'm also not making it up. Yato. Good old Yato. And they have Chewbacca, Darth Vader, a trooper, and Boba. Does that say Boba Fett? It does. It says Boba Fett here. Good old Boba Fett. What do we think about that now? We now have Star Wars Most Wanted costumes. Yeah, so that's interesting. Boba Fett and Yoda. Can't make this up. Oh, Sesame Street. You have Big Bird. And Big Bird does have striped Ernie. Again, some of these just look like somebody stayed up. Whoever drew these must have been drawing them in the 60s and the 70s, or still like living in that era. Because there is a sense, but I guess this wasn't marketing material. This is for stores that were buying it wasn't for consumers. So I guess it's maybe it was supposed to be more fun. And the Count, Cookie Monster. I remember somebody having a Cookie Monster, Grover, and the Grouch. Not Oscar, just the Grouch. But it does say Oscar the Grouch and Cookie Monster on their things. You say, what is that? But Cookie Monster, my brother Ted was Cookie Monster. He had one of those costumes. And probably not till like 83 or 84, at least. Then more copyright exclusives, kind of the same ones. The other, some alternative Superman that we've seen. And then these ones are ponchos, mean big sales on our copyright exclusives. So I guess if this is raining or something, they have Hulk, Mickey Mouse poncho. And you could get a rack or hanger for them. They had an 8 dozen rack. Came with a dozen Hulk, a dozen Mickey Mouse, a dozen of Robin's sidekick, 1 dozen of Darth Vader. I mean, I could be spelling that wrong, but I think it's Vader. This is Vadar. Frankie, Transylvania 65000, Superman, Web Buddy, a dozen of all of those. Vinyl ponchos that can be worn all year long as playwear. And some come with a mask and hood. All ponchos are waterproof. And they're made from vinyl. And there's more here. Some sort of Transylvania, Frankie. Those are the 1900 poncho pack. Holly Hobby got a poncho. Darth Vader. Superman. A couple other heroes whose names we won't say. Oh, and then add-ons. They had different figures you could buy. What are these? Ben Cooper superhero exclusive TV hero favorites. I don't know. Are these action figures? Realistic, hand-detailed action figure on a string. Seen 52 weeks a year on TV. Comes in display box. So I don't know if that's a costume or what, or a toy. Then they have Superbirds on their own string. Wiggly figures kids love. This Halloween, the Superbirds are coming, and they fly on their own string. Oh, maybe these were decorations. They had other ones. Realistic, lifelike jiggle and wiggle on a string. Yeah, they have Transylvania 65000. Oh, Doctor Strange. Captain America's Nemesis. The Thing. Soft vinyl action figures that are exclusively ours and jiggle and wiggle on a string. Okay, then we get into other add-on things in blister packs. Specs. So they had different kinds of disguise glasses. Neither one of these looks like Groucho Marx, though. And these are both already priced at $1. And then a 2-in-1 disguise kit with a beard or a mustache. A masquerade kit. I lost my page there. Which had, I think I bought one of these one time. You could be a pirate, you could have teeth, you could have nails, then style it yourself, long hair wig, or 1 yard of hair disguise kit. More popular disguise kits. I definitely bought one of these, different sets of teeth with fake fingernails, glasses, popular half masks, Ben Cooper trick-or-treat bags. That's, I guess, an easy add-on or a giveaway. Super Friends, a trick-or-treat with Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and Snow White's nemesis. And then the Flintstones. Wait, was that dog the Flintstones dog? Oh, no, it's Hanna-Barbera, because they see Yogi Bear, Fred Flintstone, and then the Jetsons dog. Then some more masks. I don't know if it's a recap or this you could just buy masks only, but they had Mickey. These is actually pictures of the masks. Mickey, not sure who that is. Some Marvel superheroine. Captain America, The Thing. Maybe no one wanted to be any other member of the Fantastic Four. Jerry, Tweety Bird maybe, or some sort of bird, Roadrunner. I don't know who that is. Donald Duck and Raggedy Ann. Oh, adult hand-sculpted masks. That's what we're looking at. Then they have Vadar. They have a Sandperson, C-3PO, Chewbacca, and just a regular generic trooper. Then they have Galactic Hero. So this is Battlestar Galactica fake-outs. Galactic Hero. So I guess that was the other move. They're like, we'll just make masks. We can either sign a agreement with you or make masks like your characters. I guess they didn't have a deal with Universal because they have a lot of stuff that looks like Universal, but I don't see anything. And then more Wonder Woman. What is that one? Some sort of robot. It's a night Biotron. Then some more with hair. Sculptured masks, man. Ben Cooper's adult with hair. They have different ones, different styles or different things. They could use them for Mardi Gras or teens and adults. Then they have different racks you could put your masks on to sell them. Oh, these were expensive. These have the actual prices, $2.49 for a 22 and a half dozen rack. No, one, two, if it's a dozen. Oh, I guess, but each one holds, and then, $2.14 for a 15 dozen rack, and then $171 for a 12 dozen. Racks are ready, man. Selling. Then they had rubber ones. These are actual pictures. My dad, like I said in that episode, he would buy a new rubber mask every year. That was one of the few indulgences he ever had. He never took us with him, though. It was always a mystery. He would come home a little bit before Halloween with his all picked out. So it's like kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, you have this kind of secret life we're not a part of. So let's pop over to the 1970, what year is this one? 1986 Ben Cooper catalog. This one, it has everything for Halloween. We put it all together. This one, it has actual people, though. I got to get it open here. And I got a 3% battery, so this will be interesting as always. This is all color photos. So let's see. The first page has the top vinyls. They have Casper, a bunny, a fairy, a cat, ACLOWN, and a lady witchbeard. And then below it, they have like the next size up. And they have it in different order, so you can't really compare. Oh, I guess the Casper is not real Casper. It's like so that must have been what they did. They said, oh, you don't want to advertise? You don't want us to license your mask? Okay. Then they have, I guess, the next level up or something, because they have another Lady Witchbeard one. Oh, these are half masks. Maybe they're paper masks? I don't know. Head topper, they call them. So they have different ones, Frankie, a fairy, some that are like, you can't even believe. Then they have the ponchos. Poncho would not be a very good costume because you couldn't hear. I don't remember anybody having a poncho costume. And then, let's see what other ones we have here. Oh, some from the comics. This purple comic book character, Punky Brewster. Robotech even, and then Raggedy Ann, some sort of wireless warrior. I don't know. I don't have I've got a little pixelation. Mr. Potato Head does not look like Mr. Potato Head. Must have briefly had Dottie Dog, Wheeled Warrior. That says. Okay, then Mickey Mouse, Donald, Tinkerbell, those costumes, I'll be honest, these ones are awful. And Looney Tunes ones. It looks like the Disney also like did something because their masks are not masks, they're drawn on. That's the same. Maybe the masks were just so bad. Oh, then they had ones from He-Man. They had He-Man, He-Man's Nemesis, the magic thing that floated around. I don't know if that was good or bad. Let's see, some other characters who I don't even know. Oh, I think these are He-Man's. Maybe those are characters that, like I said, I wasn't a big He-Man. Or maybe I never said it yet. I said that in a future episode. These are other He-Man people. I don't know. Masters of the Universe. Then they have another set of hair costumes. Those ones are pretty cool. Like, I would wear one of those now. Woody Woodpecker. Bugs Bunny. What else we got here? So these ones were new. Thundercats. Two different Thundercat ones. Voltron. The kid that's playing Voltron, though, his shoulders are slumped. Also one of the Thundercats. Some other ones like that. Mask. Remember there was like then G.I. Joe. Hulk Hogan. She-Ra, so she's still around. She-Ra. G.I. Joe. Some sort of, some really interesting. Oh, Pound Puppies, Gummy Bears. I loved that show. Flippy Dog, I don't know, but they had two of the Gummy Bears, Cherry and somebody else. They have two little My Little Ponies, a purple one and a yellow one, a couple of Care Bears, somebody else who... Oh, Glowworm and a Cabbage Patch. You could go as Glowworm, the Goodnight Pal. Oh, Popples. I kind of remember that show. Another She-Ra. Probably some sort of She-Ra's rivals. Dream Glow Barbie. So this was their decline. It seems like because they were probably paying out so much in licensing fees. They had Muppet Babies, Baby Kermit, Baby Miss Piggy, Baby Fozzie Bear. They had some plush costumes. Then they have Fraggle Rock, Dozer, and then a couple other of the Fraggle Rocks. You got Sesame Street. This time Grover's dressed up like a cowboy. For some reason, Oscar the Grouch has a bowl cut. I don't remember him. I guess I do. I don't know. Cookie Monster looks good. No Bert. How come nobody wanted to be Bert? Then we had more pajama costumes. That might be good to put your kid right to bed. Those are kind of generic. Teddy bear, a bunny, a tiger. The heck is that one? Popple? Another glowworm. Muppet Baby Kermit. That's a winner. Then, yeah, they were getting into fabric costumes like that article said. Oh, and then they even have adult ones, which are all kind of ridiculous. And no wonder, it's like being a child of the 80s. You say, okay, well, yeah. This is this is the environment we were raised in. They have makeup, they have dress-up sets for all ages. They came in plastic bags. Some like, one-piece suits, different capes, and yeah, different like makeup kits. I remember when this got popular. Then you could get some wigs, like kind of like we covered it, and then the over the head rubber masks, funkies, the punkies. So they have different ones, carnival style ones, Mardi Gras style ones, topper, comic opera ones, fantastique over the head, long plush hair. Ones with hair there. Hats, sateen, fabric, and giant hats, derby hats. The guy modeling the hats really put a lot of work in. He's making a lot of different faces. Hopefully he found work after this. This is worth it. I'm not even kidding. I love this. I have a new hero. Maybe I should have reached out to the guy with pizza at McDonald's and see if we can track this guy down. Okay. You have to look this up. So this is go to plaidstallions.com, 1986, what is this, the Ben Hamper or whatever catalog? And then go to like the pages where they have the different hats. So he's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He looks like the guy on Dawson's Creek, or James Bleeker, or what was his name? That's definitely not his name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the actor. He had a show where he played himself recently. I mean, it's not the same person anyway. But so the guy's making faces in every single picture, and he's acing it. Like, he brings joy and amusement to everything. He also looks a little bit like Dominic that was on Lost and was also one of Frodo's people. A little bit like that. And then, it finishes up with kind of the stuff we saw last time. So, that's a little bit about, I can't even remember the name of the company, though. The Ben Cooper catalog and a little Halloween costume journey for you this season. Good night, everybody. All right, I want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. It supports the show on Patreon. I want to thank Janet, Zoe, and Wooter. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Henry, Diane, and Logan. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Hannah, Janie, and Megan. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Douglas, Kimberly, and George. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Cassie, Tyler, and Carly. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Margaret, Jack, and Amy. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Roland and Emma. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Aisa and Catherine. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. Sleep With Me exists as a free podcast because of people like the people you just heard that support the show directly, or the listeners that support our sponsors. We grow as a podcast by people just spreading the word about podcasts in general is one way to support the show. And, you could also join our referral program. I'll tell you about this coming up right here. Thanks, everybody, and good night. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots with a tuck you in message here for our bedtime story podcast. We're trying out, and I kind of said this, free way to support Sleep With Me and bedtime stories from Sleep With Me is join our referral program, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, R-E-F-E-R. You get rewarded for introducing people to the free version of Sleep With Me, including access to Sleep With Me Plus. But most of all, just think about what your favorite podcast is or one of your favorite podcasts, and then support that podcast. It doesn't have to be Sleep With Me, but just to support your favorite podcast because they could use your support right now. And if you decide, Sleep With Me is actually my favorite podcast, well, wow, blushing, seriously, even though it's imaginary here in this context, and support it at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Or listen to a show you love and see how they want to be supported. Thanks.